next generation of priests, and also especially of those that are taking up a responsibility in seminaries and institutions of initial and further formation. For this, also to share more and also to give you more input on what we can do in the area of scholarships, I brought my colleague who oversees our scholarship work in Europe. So every project that is where a local member of the clergy goes to Europe to undergo theology or canon law or philosophy studies, for example, at Hoja or Lateran University, in Navacha, in Warsaw, for example. Those projects are administered by my colleague, Mr. Julian Löffler, who will address you momentarily. And I also brought with me Father Mariusz from our Polish office, who represents a local theological faculty, the Cardinal Wyszynski University Theology Faculty, and will also tell you more about what Church in Need can do to train formators. So without further ado, I hand over to my colleague, Mr. Löffler, to give you a short presentation on our scholarship. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, Tony. First, my warmest greetings to you all. I'm Julian Löffler. Section with Mr. Tony Zender, a study section. This is for studies at the Kuwa, at Tangasa College, at 𝐔-𝐏𝐿 Institute in Arusha, for example. Now, for the second type, studies in Europe, it's the scholarship section, the one in charge. So it is my section. The scholarship section offers study aids in the form of partial scholarships for postgraduate courses in theology, philosophy, canon law, and social communication at ecclesiastical faculties and universities, primarily in Europe, as well as in some selected study places in Northern America that are not available in our project partners' home regions, as well as for safeguarding courses at the Institute of Anthropology.
And how many are there? Our scholarship holders come from dioceses, orders and congregations from all countries in the world. where the Church is under persecution, under pressure, in need. Per academic year, we manage between 200 and 250 scholarships. This includes between 17 and 19 new scholarships that we grant every year. As to the origin of our scholarship holders, in the academic year 2020-21, almost 47% were from Africa, 34% from Asia, approximately 16% from Latin America, and less than 4% from Eastern Europe. Regarding Africa in 2020-21, we had 104 scholarships, out of which 39 scholarship holders from the AMECEA countries. Where do our scholarship holders study and at which universities? In principle, we can offer scholarships for studies at all ecclesiastical faculties and universities in Europe that can award canonical degrees. But actually, we only give them for studies at a reduced number of study places from which we know of that there are good possibilities for scholarship holders to be lodged adequately. That is, where there is a good spiritual accompaniment, for example, if they study in Italy, in Rome, in the 𝐔𝐓𝐔𝐌. In the academic year 2020-21, more than half of our scholarship holders did their studies at the pontifical universities in Rome, such as the Gregorian University, Santa Croce University, the Biblicum, the Angelicum, Auxilium Theresianum, Antonianum, Regina Apostolorum, Urban and Lateran University. Then followed with around 15 to 20 scholarship holders respectively, Catholic University of Leuven in Belgium, the Studium Notre-Dame de Vie in Saint-Didier, France, the Institut Catholique de Paris, also in France, the Universidad de Navarra in Pamplona, Spain, the Leopold Franzens University in Innsbruck, Austria, and with particularly high numbers of scholarship holders from the Anglophone Africa, the Kardinal Wyszyński University in Warsaw in Poland, where theological studies in English are available. And also Father Marius from this university will talk to you after me and will tell you a little bit about the faculty in Warsaw. Then a smaller number studied in Eichstätt in Germany at the Catholic University and at the Franciscan Studium Biblicum in Jerusalem. By whom and for whom can scholarships be requested? Bishops and religious superiors can request a scholarship for the benefit of priests, members of their orders and congregations, or lay people. Principal target groups are future teachers, formatters, and spiritual directors in major seminaries, novice mistresses and masters. For sister congregations, also preparation for the specialized apostolate, for example, studies in education at the Auxilium in Rome. For future specialists in canon law, for the establishment of an ecclesiastical tribunal to remedy the lack of trained canon lawyers within a diocese or an ecclesiastical province. Priests with a leading pastoral function, for example, pastoral directors, specialists in the areas of abuse prevention and the protection of children and vulnerable adults, such as safeguarding officers. Specialists with leading roles in the social communications departments of dioceses, where several kinds of media reach out to quite a number of people. So then now we come to, yeah, we will do just another information. What are the conditions that should be observed by applying for a scholarship? First, we have basic conditions. Return to home diocese after the studies. Application must be done before the candidate has left his home diocese. No help for an academic degree already earned by the same candidate. A candidate should have at least 2 years of pastoral experience following the priestly ordination. Age limit. As a rule, a candidate should not be older than 40 years, but especially for priests who work as seminary teachers and formatters, we make exceptions. For priests holding a licentiate who have already worked in the seminary as a formator or lecturer and shall continue to do so, this bishop may well apply for a scholarship for doctoral studies so that they may have an update. For candidates older than 40 years, however, a sabbatical year, a scholarship for a sabbatical year can always be asked for. More than one candidate of a diocese. As a rule, only one scholarship can be considered per diocese and academic year, but we can consider more than one candidate if the candidates are to work after the studies in different fields: seminary formation, safeguarding, church tribunal. Secondly, if a candidate of one diocese, if 2 candidates of one diocese are deemed to be the best candidates for a certain seminary subject and shall work as seminary formators or lecturers in a regional or a national major seminary. So this is kind of the basic information on scholarships. I don't know the time. Okay, then we shall shift to Father Marius. He will talk now about the 𝐷-𝐄𝐻, the Cardinal Stefan Wyszyński University in Warsaw. This is one of our study places. There our students, many students from Eastern African countries study there. So he will tell you, give you some more details about this. Just a little word, the presentation which I showed, it's not all. I've prepared more, so if someone of you is interested after the talk, you come to me, come to us, then we send you this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian, Your Eminence, Your Excellence, dear brothers and sisters. I'm Father Mariusz Boguszewski from Cardinal Stefan Wyszyński University in Warsaw, in Poland. And also I'm working in Polish office of 𝐻-𝐄𝐻𝐿 Pontifical Foundation. It's a very big pleasure to me to be here with you and to meet some bishops who sent to us our students. And I greet you from my university and from students who now stays in Poland, in Warsaw. There are about 16 now in Warsaw. I am here to tell you about the 3 proposals from our university. The first one, at my university, Cardinal Stefan Wyszyński University, is an opportunity to study Sacred Holy Theology in English. We have been offering the 2nd and 3rd cycles studies since 2015. Second degree is a canonical licentiate and 3rd doctoral PhD. Our university has civil from Poland and ecclesiastical Catholic recognizing at the same time. The diploma is ecclesiastical and state recognized. Therefore, we require that the candidate already has a baccalaureate in theology. We have 3 departments of theology. The first one is biblical, where you can study biblical theology and patrology. The second one, systematic theology, where it's possible to study fundamental, dogmatic, moral, and spirituality. And the third department, practical theology, catechesis and missiology. A licentiate's degree is completed in 3 years, or if it's a request, to do an intensive course in 2 years, and after followed by 1 year for doctoral courses, finished with a public defense of a doctorate. The second proposed, we offer a formation courses for formators in seminaries or church schools, etc. The course is prepared and approved by the ecclesiastical authority and our faculty, theology, in Warsaw. You can do it stationary in Warsaw or in Warsaw in Poland or online. This is a new project. In this year, the course will be start on the first Saturday of October. The course consists 90 hours of lessons and practical classes in 3 modules: human, spiritual, and pastoral formation. And the third proposed is you can also come or send to us the people for a sabbatic year or time courses. Then we offer selected courses in theology and learning about the culture of Poland and the Catholic Church in Poland. What is very important, we're helping for accommodation in a diocesan seminar in Warsaw or in religious house, for example, Passionist in Warsaw, or in another religious house. We help also arranging insurance and the process of legal stay in Poland. The student has a spiritual care during his stay in Poland. We teach healthy and Catholic theology. We already have about 15 PhD graduates from Africa, one from AMECEA map, for example, Uganda and Zambia, and somebody from Tanzania. Our proposal to study in English is a response to the request of African bishops, especially from Nigeria, to educate healthy theology in a Catholic country. We try to show our faith and our understanding of God and the Church. Students have the opportunity to pastoral care, medical, etc., what I said before. We are working with ICN to secure the scholarships, as Julian said, and Poland is not a very expensive, until now, a very expensive country. This is a big help for us. Thank you for your understanding, for listening to me, and if anyone has questions, I'm available here to do more information. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, Faber Mariusz. We would also be open to take 1 or 2 questions, if there are questions concerning the work of Aid to the Church in Need, or its scholarship program in particular, or also the scholarship offer for Europe, and especially in Poland, we would be open for questions. Does anyone have a question? Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Mine is about the refugees. Recently, we were on a video Zoom conference with the dicastery for migrants and refugees. And we were asked what we can do for the future of refugees so that they can contribute in our society, wherever they are. So this is the issue. We have been helping them just at the basic level, giving primary education, secondary education. So if they are to contribute to our society, there is also need for higher education for the refugees. So I wanted to hear if in your plan you have support for refugees, maybe scholarship for them to study at the higher level so that they can contribute meaningfully to our society. And my diocese is at Arua. I'm called Bishop Sabino Chano Doki. I have over 1 million refugees from South Sudan, and we are trying our best. But when it comes to higher education, we feel we are not able. And they keep asking, we want our youth to go to university, but we can't do that if we are not helped. So can the church, in need, organization, do something about these refugees to provide them with higher education? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishop Sabino. So there are two responses from me concerning that question concerning the care for refugees. So the first part of the answer is everything that is related to the pastoral care of refugees is something, so every project that is trained at caring for refugees and offering them pastoral care through the local diocese is something that we can support. Yeah, so I collaborated already with a good number of dioceses in the AMECEA area where there is a refugee situation, and that is often very difficult for the local diocesan structure to respond, because all of a sudden there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that then also need pastoral care. And if there are grants needed that support that, for example, to buy a car for the priest that is appointed to care, or the two priests that care for the refugee camp, or the congregation that is invited to offer the care, that is something we can support. We can give a first support so that they can start working, that they can cover their first expenses. That is something we can do, and we can also help with pastoral projects in that context. And then the second part of my answer would be, if there are no local structures or also international structures present that care for the direct support concerning food and also education, then we can also, in certain select cases, give a grant that helps you to enable the diocesan structure to respond to those problems. And that is, if for those of you that have a lot of refugees, I'm always happy if either you approach me, or if also then over a certain course of time, I can also come and visit you so that we can see what the actual situation, which response is needed for your particular situation, and also on top of that we see how we can cooperate closely there. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, the microphone. Those are my very confusing microphones. They're too large to sit down and too small to stand up. Otherwise, you come up and join me.
Perhaps it's a funny idea, but why don't think of opening a campus among the refugees? Or a section there, instead of going there to Warsaw or elsewhere.
Yeah. So that is the training in Warsaw. The training in Warsaw, that is something for your priests and sisters. That is it's an offer for those that work as formators in major seminaries. And then concerning the response in the actual refugee camps, that is something where we can only work through the local diocese. We're unable to respond ourselves. That is not our mission, and also that is not how we work. So we can only support local initiatives that are within your diocese, and that is something we can do then. Are there any? Okay.
Thank you very much. We give applause for Mr. Tony Zenda, Father Marius, and Mr. Julian. Thank you very much for this presentation, and we are going to be in touch with you, and we shall continue communicating and finding more details and how we can use this opportunity, very relevant to our topic, the environmental impact on integral human development. And this needs knowledge and interacting with the other partners so that we can succeed. And one suketal skull cap of one of us fell on the road here. If yours is missing, check, and then you get it right here with me. And then there is another announcement very quickly from Father. Let us pay attention to it. Thank you, Father.
Your Eminences, Your Graces, my Lord Bishops, I just wanted to announce about the meetings between partners and those who would wish to meet them. They had mentioned the name, but people could not connect the face and the name. I'm Father Emmanuel Chimombo, working in the pastoral department at AMECEA. So I was tasked by Father Anthony to coordinate that task. But now we have met a bit of a hitch, a problem, because the list that we had and the time that is allocated is almost filled. We don't have any extra time. We were using the small break that was there between lunch and the next session, so the times are filled. Now, wanted to advise that we just use the most available time possible. At least the partner you can meet, be it within lunch or any space that is available to do so. But in case you may not be aware of the partner and you'd want to know him, then we could direct you to say, here is the person. But the arrangements, we could do them in that way, except for those that we had already scheduled and they are aware of the times, let them respect the time. We had a problem this afternoon. One partner had bookings for 2 people. So both of them were waiting, and I really felt sad to have bishops waiting and not meeting the partner. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Father Emmanuel. Continue to coordinate us, and we shall be successful. As a family, there is no worry, but let us only catch up with our time, which is not our best ally.